Hey, this is Dan from Easy Build RC, and this is going to be the video for the build of the new Safari bush plane. And you can also use this video for building the Cub. Okay, I've already glued the two wing halves together. This is glued together, and now we're going to glue the spar end to the wing. There's a little step here in the wing, and we're going to glue the spar end. So I'm going to use foam tack and get it on the bottom and on the front edge of where the spar goes, and then place the spar in place. Alright, so here we go. Spar's going in place, and we're gonna place that in there. That'll keep your wing flat, and we'll let that dry. Okay, now that we've got the two halves glued together, we are going to slice the fuselage here, right down the middle of the tabs. So get all of your cuts in here and slice it right down the middle. The front's already loose here. Make sure it's cut all the way through. Then we're going to take the horizontal fuselage. Now stand this up a little bit and slide the horizontal fuselage into the vertical fuselage. Okay. Try to keep our tape all together and stuff. Okay, and then line up your tabs, which we should be pretty close here. Alright. Well, we're pretty close there. We'll get the bottom one in there. Like that. Probably the most toughest spot. Okay, so we're getting it together. All right, and then what I'm probably going to do is tack it in a few spots with hot glue. Let's get it together, get it straight, and tack it together. And then making sure that it's perpendicular to the fuselage. I use a little credit card here. And then kind of checking it as we go. I'm going to lay a little more in here. Get this on there. Okay, get toward the front here. Lay a little more on there. Right where the fuse is going to go together. Okay, let's check our. Okay, we'll let it dry a little bit. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. All right, and again we'll line things up. It's a little awkward because I am right-handed. So let's lay a little bit in here. Right up through there, glue that, check it for, all right, we've got our wing glued together, we've got our reinforcement in there, our carbon fiber. Now's the time to put your graphics on. If you're going to do any graphics on it, like this one, put your graphics on there now. So now's the time to do it before we start gluing things together. It just makes it a lot easier. All right, so we're gonna flip this upside down, have our spar, our carbon fiber spar standing up. All right, and then we're gonna place our wing in here, a little notch in here for the carbon fiber spar. So we're gonna lay some glue in there all the way along. We're gonna place this in there. Right on that carbon fiber spar. And then what you want to do is just check your measurement on both sides and make sure you have the same measurement. Okay, just check it on both sides, make sure it's flat from front to back, sitting in there. If you want, you can check your squareness in there. and make sure that, let's see, check it toward the front. Okay, because you want this to be square so your landing gear turns out good. Okay. All right, and I think we're actually, that credit card still works pretty good in there. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to do our gear. Going to do the. Okay, now we've got our fuse glued into our wing. We're gonna put our landing gear in. All your wooden parts are already in there. Your plywood parts. You're gonna place this. It would be your left landing gear. You're gonna place in toward the front, and your right landing gear, as you're sitting in the cockpit, you're gonna place in the other side. So when we glue these in, we're gonna have to check and make sure that our axles are straight and even. So as soon as we fill, we're gonna pull this up. We're gonna fill our little hole there with glue. Give it a little bit of twist to get some glue on there. Then check your straightness across here. You're gonna want to make sure that there's an even gap on the right and the left side of that. Then I'm gonna do the other side. You can't see it, but I'm gonna do it the same way. Gonna fill the hole, stick the rod in, give it a little twist either way. Then check my alignment. The other one, let that cool a little bit. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna inject our glue on both sides on the center part of it. But check your distance to make sure you're similar, so that you get an even distance. I got 11 inches there, and yeah, it's pretty good. I got 11 inches there, so we're looking pretty good. So I'm going to inject my glue into here, and then I'm going to inject it into the other side. I'm going to let that cool, then I'm going to fill it in a little bit. So once that cools, double check your straightness here. You can see I got one side that moved a little bit on me. So we're going to twist that one around. Should still be able to move it. Let's get it straight again. Right like that. Okay. Gonna let it cool, then I'm gonna recoat it with some glue. We got our landing gear in there. It all looks really good. Now it's time to put the servos in. So you've got slots in here in the wing already. Just poke the hole through there. And you can use foam tack or hot glue on this. It don't matter. I usually do hot glue. Make sure your control horn linkage stopper is pointed toward the outside, and the bottom angle of your control horn the angle should go down and it should be right on the crease, so that the bottom of the angle goes right on your hinge point, right where it separates. Okay, once it's in there, I put a bead on either side of my control horn. And if you get a little bit too much, you can usually just wipe it off real quick. Then your servo arm goes to the outside of the wing. You're going to drop your servo wire down through the wing. You're going to put a little bit of glue in the front and the back of your servo slot. Then you're going to push down right into the glue. Okay. Alright, you can flip it over and put a bead of glue on either side of your servo, or just one side. Probably be plenty. And then you've got a slot in the top of the wing that you're going to push the servo wire through. So your push rod now is going to go right in the outside hole. Your wing. Unscrew this. Get my push rod through there. And then you can adjust everything once you're done. Okay. You want your rod 90 degrees. You want it pointed right toward the outside of the wing. Then level out your aileron and tighten it up. And then when you do your final adjustment, you can get everything exactly where you want. But that's what you want right there. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing with our elevator back here. Like I said, the push rod goes with the linkage stopper pointing toward the outside, and then you also have a little stanchion here that's going to get glued right in between. There's a hole in here already. You can probably push up from the bottom through the hole. Okay, don't glue that yet till you get your servo in there, your push rod in, and then glue that into place so that it's centered really well. And again, your servo arm is going to be pointed toward the outside, and that is not the correct servo. Okay, you want the servo pointed forward and your arm pointed out. So when you place this servo in there, okay, you want the arm out and toward the front. And again, puts a little bit of glue in the front and the back of that, glue it in, get your control horn in the back and glue it in, and same with all one. The other side's everything's gonna point to the outside also. It's gonna point to the other side. Okay, so there's what your servos are gonna look like. That's the setup. Then you want to put your strut covers on, making sure they're level and straight so it doesn't affect your flight in any way. There's a couple of holes in the fuselage to help you line those up. Then you just glue those in place. The motor mount you just glue in place. It's a pre-drilled motor mount that you're going to mount your motor on. Use lots of glue on that because that's going to hold your motor on. Then you have your wheels, which are the EPP wheels, and those are going to go right on. And then you've got your set screw collars that will get all of that together. So those will go on real nicely. Your Tundra tires there, made out of EPP. The side force generators for the wings, they go on the little tabs and get glued in. Don't glue your aileron to it, because then your aileron will not move. But they go right on there. Then you have your center guide there, I guess you call it side force generator. Just glue that right over top. Then you got the ones that go over the wing. It's got a little cutout for your KF M1 airfoil. Slot, slide it back, all locks into place, and then glue it there. That pretty much lines itself up. Okay, I'll probably have a supplemental video on setting it up, but that's basically it. It's a pretty easy build. It'll go right around that. It'll also